Hello and welcome. I'm Peter Bradley here in New York City, and tonight we're going to discuss the Royal Tenenbaums, Bottle Rockets, and Rushmore. All three movies directed by Wes Anderson. And here we have, in the studio tonight in New York, we have Stephen Digman, Sanjay Mathew. In San Francisco, we have Kumar Pallana and Deepak Pallana. And in Los Angeles, we have Brian Tenenbaum and Andrew Wilson. All six of these actors have appeared in Wes Anderson movies. So now let's start here in New York with Sanjay Mathew. Tell me about your role in Royal Tenenbaum.
Well, I play this tennis player named Sanjay Gandhi, and actually the pronunciation is Sanjay.
What did I say? Sanjay?
You said Sanjay.
Oh,
but
I'm
it's
sorry.
actually spelled
Sanjay.
S-A-N.
Yeah.
So
Well, I grew up too,
commonly
as Wes
mistaken.
Anderson did in Texas, so sand is sand and san is something else.
Yeah. So I play this guy. He is a world-class tennis player named Sanjay Gandhi, and he defeats Richie Tenenbaum, who's played by Luke Wilson, in the pivotal match at the U.S. Nationals.
Wait, Luke Wilson. Now we have here in Los Angeles, we have Andrew Wilson. Now, Luke Wilson and Andrew Wilson, are they related?
They're brothers. Yeah, Luke is the youngest.
Oh, I see. I knew that, but I thought, well, we don't have Andrew Wilson here tonight. He's probably... Brian, do we have you out there?
Yes, sir, right here.
Brian, where is Andrew? Is he stuck in traffic?
You know what? I've been trying to call Andrew for about an hour and a half now. He
Yes.
promised me yesterday he'd be here, and I don't know. He was going to drop his son off at my house with my babysitter and drive 10 minutes to the studio, and can't find him. No cell phone, no house.
Well,
Don't know.
that's good. That's good. Now, tell me, Brian, now you've been in how many of the Anderson movies?
I've been in 3 of the Anderson movies.
And what roles did you play?
Starting with the most recent movie, The Royal Tenenbaums, I play a EMT driver who loads a priest into an ambulance after a melee at a wedding.
Now, that
Yeah.
sounds interesting. How did you prepare for that?
Well, let's see. I prepared by looking at the line that I was supposed to say and then showing up on the set and saying it about probably 20 times that day. And actually, I never got it right. They had to, I think, digitally correct what I said because I never got it right.
Oh, really? Well, that's very interesting. Well, but so then, when you prepare for a role, you don't really learn the lines, actually.
Yeah, well, I've never had a role that actually was lines. They're usually pretty much just lines, singular. In Rushmore, I had an even smaller role than I did in Royal Tenenbaums,
Yeah.
where I said something about cutting down a tree.
Cutting down a tree.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Yeah.
So,
And what sort of direction did you receive when you got this role of cutting down the tree?
it was a little while ago. I'm trying to remember. I think it was, if I remember correctly, it was more about not how much I said, not what I said, so much as where I stood and how to pretend like I'm turning on a chainsaw.
And you were also in Rushmore.
That was Rushmore that we're talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry, Bottle Rockets.
Bottle Rocket, yeah, that was sort of my finest moment
Is
as
it
an
Bottle
actor.
Rocket or Bottle Rockets?
I've always thought it was Bottle Rocket, but you should probably consult the director for that one.
Is Stephen Dignan, is it Bottle Rocket or Bottle Rockets?
It's Bottle Rocket. Yeah,
One, as
singular.
in one Bottle Rocket, I see. Let's go to San Francisco and talk to Kumar Pallana. Now, Kumar Pallana.
Yes, sir.
What films of Mr. Anderson's have you participated in?
I played the first time with Mr. I played my own name there, was in the first movie, The Bottle Rocket.
Yeah.
And
I'm sorry, I didn't understand that. Would you say that again?
I played the first movie.
No, who did you play? And not who were you in this? What was your character?
Chef Cracker.
A safecracker.
Yeah.
How did you prepare for that?
Well, I do some magic tricks and I do some jugglings, and I'm a all-around personality. So it was very easy for me to act that parts.
And what did you do in the Royal Tenenbaums?
Oh, Royal Tenenbaum, I was a butler of the Jane
Oh, I
Hackman.
remember you. Yes, you were. You were very good in that movie. Yes, yes.
I was almost a shadow. Wherever he goes, I go with him.
How about Rushmore?
Rushmore, I play little parts, and I was very happy there. I played the part which was a little Jane.
Oh, I'd say, now the man sitting next to you, Dipak, is he?
Yeah, he plays also the three movie.
Is he a relative of yours?
Yeah, he's my son.
Ah, nepotism.
Yeah.
Yes, Dipak. Now, what roles did you play in the Royal Tenenbaum, or what role, I should say?
Excuse me, Peter. The pronunciation is Deepak.
Deepak?
Deepak, yes.
It's spelled Deepak. Yes, Deepak. Sorry.
That's fine.
Yeah.
So what was it? Could you repeat your question?
What role did you play in the Royal Tenenbaum?
I played a doctor. A doctor of no name, I believe.
Doctor of no name. What did you play in Bottle Rocket?
In Bottle Rocket, I played a bookstore employee.
So, and in the Rushmore?
And in Rushmore, I played a high school teacher. I was in the opening scene with Max Fisher.
Uh-huh. So what is your background, Deepak? What is your background and training in acting?
My experience in life. I think that's one of the things that Wes looks for in many of his actors is the characters that he creates, I think, a lot of times are created from people he knows in real life.
Now, were you born in the United States?
I was, New York City.
Oh, you were. Have you ever been offered Native American roles in films?
No, I haven't.
Just
Do I
wondered.
look Native American?
No, just wondered. Just wondered.
Okay.
Just one. Mr. Dignan, back in New York. What are your current projects?
My current projects, well, my day job.
Yes, your day job.
My day job.
I drove a taxi when I was a young, before I got into
my
whatever
day
it is I'm
job
doing.
is I just started about a week ago. I'm a new payroll accountant at Dean and DeLuca, specialty food store down at Prince and Broadway.
You mean?
So I have a little office downstairs below the store, and I basically do the payroll. And who knows, I might jump up on the floor and work in the cheese department someday if they're shorthanded. Eventually,
So what's your background in accounting?
My background in accounting is pretty limited, but I did work as an accounting clerk on 2 motion pictures.
So how is it that you have come to be an actor in these movies?
Well, I wanted to tell you about another current project.
Oh,
I'm
another
working
current
on,
project,
but
yes.
I'll answer the actor
Okay.
question. I'm also I'm practicing with this Tibetan rock and roll band, a bunch of like Tibetan guys, and we have a guy from whose family's originally from Puerto Rico, and one guy who's I think Japanese American maybe. But anyway, it's just we're performing for Losar.
Now, Brian Tenenbaum, what do you look for in a script?
I just look for a script, pretty much. If somebody puts one in front of me, then I take the job. I've only had 3 jobs in my life, and they've all been 3 acting jobs in my life, and they've all been Wes Anderson movies.
I see. So
it's
you're not
sorta
primarily an actor.
It's not. Yeah, it's not a traditional type of setup here. I don't have choices, first of all, so I just take whatever comes to me.
Well, Kumar Pallana, are you an actor?
I'm an actor all my life,
Ah,
entertainer.
I
I did in the live shows in the theater, vaudeville times. I also worked in nightclubs and cabarets in Las Vegas and Paris.
in Paris?
Yeah.
You obviously did you grow up in India?
Yeah, I was born in India and I left India many years back.
Did you ever work in a Merchant Ivory movie?
Which one?
Ishmael Merchant James Ivory movie.
No, I work in different parts. Many years back in Los Angeles, I was working in a little part here and there. I'm talking about 55 and 56, 1956.
That's a long time ago. Did you ever play an
Yes.
American Indian? I mean, a Native American?
Yes,
Indian?
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yes.
Sitting Bull, perhaps?
No, I say how.
What's that?
I say how.
How?
Yeah.
Oh, how? I see. That's what.
Okay.
How? How? That's
Yeah.
sort of.
I play some Mexican part also.
Do any of you have any questions, or would you like to relay any information to one another? Since you all seem to be good friends, I mean, the lines are open. We can all. It's as if San Francisco and Los Angeles and New York were right in this room together. So
Yeah, well,
carry on.
I'm just lucky to be everywhere I go. I always find the friends. I don't know.
Well, you look
Just
like you look like a friendly man.
Well, I am.
Yes.
I'm always had a long time smiling.
You're not smiling.
Well, that's where I get the friends.
Brian Tenenbaum,
Yes, sir.
what was it like working with Gene Hackman?
Pretty limited exposure working with Gene Hackman. I worked for one day.
Yes.
Let's see what I remember of Gene Hackman. I remember
Well, were you impressed with his acting?
after I saw the finished product, I was very impressed with his acting.
You mean while he was doing it in front of
Well-
you and talking, you weren't impressed?
Yeah, well, the way the shot that I was in worked, I really couldn't see what he was doing because it was, I think they call it a pan. It started about half a block, panned a half a city block of New York, and the part that Gene Hackman was in was, a good 100 yards from where I was. So I didn't get to see him work until after the fact.
It's just a coincidence that your name is Tenenbaum, I take it. Well, we won't go into that, but I suppose it. I think I like that. Were you hired because your name is Tenenbaum?
That's tough to say. I wouldn't, if my name wasn't Tenenbaum, I probably would not have been in the movie.
That's a good answer. Would the film have been called The Royal Tenenbaums if your name weren't Brian Tenenbaum?
I don't think so, but I'm not. I can't say for sure, but
Now, are you from
Yeah.
Texas?
no, I'm from Savannah, Georgia,
Savannah, Georgia. Peach.
the Peach State. Although they say
Sanjay.
that
What is? I keep hearing about your tennis. What is your tennis experience? You played a tennis player.
Yeah, I
the
played a tennis
Tenenbaum.
player in the movie,
Yes.
and my tennis experience, I used to play in the juniors in Texas, and played in high school, and played a little bit in college, but then haven't played much since until this movie.
Do you besides being a terrific actor, do you do any other sort of work?
Yeah, I'm a psychiatrist. That's my real job
A psychiatrist.
at Columbia.
Well, that must really sort of tie into the acting work, because I would think that most actors like to get to the core of their character they're playing. So did you find that this helped you play the part you played in the Tenenbaums much better than if you hadn't, say, been a psychiatrist?
Probably had very little anything to do with it. I mean, I happened to play a lot of tennis, and actually the hardest thing about
Well, let's
it...
go to Kumar in San Francisco. Kumar, do you play tennis?
Oh, I play every sport when I was small.
But before you go on, I want everybody to feel free to jump in.
I'm very free. I'm very free with you. Thank you for telling me.
Brian and Stephen and Sanjay and Deepak and Brian. Carry on. Don't ask me questions. I want to get to know you. Ask each other questions. I want to hear what you have to say to one another. I love this multi-feed we have here.
Would you like the questions to be related to Wes Anderson and his projects, or they can be about anything that we want?
And anything. It doesn't matter. Anything you feel like asking. If you can ask, where did you have a good dinner last night, if you like.
I want to know about Zoloft. What can Sanjay tell me about Zoloft?
Yes.
Well, I think Zoloft is a great drug, and
Did Gene Hackman, does he take Zoloft?
I don't know. I mean,
No, okay, go ahead.
sometimes it seems like he needs it. He
No,
has
no,
a lot
sorry,
of
sorry.
anger.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. I just was
But Zoloft
I'm
is...
a fan of Gene's. You know.
So, Brian, Zoloft is an antidepressant,
Yeah.
and it's much like Prozac or Paxil and so on, and you can use it for basically everything in psychiatry, or a lot of different disorders: depression, anxiety, social anxiety, panic.
Can
and
you
I
take
prescribe
one
it a lot.
Zoloft and get the same result, or do you have to build it up over time?
You have to build it up over time. I mean, but I think the problem...
Not like Valium, in other words.
No, no. It's a different thing. And you generally don't get addicted to Zoloft like you can with Valium.
Now, what's your favorite drug?
My favorite drug that I prescribe, or that I...
Yeah, well, you know, feel free. Talk.
I don't know. I'm actually a big fan of this drug called Remeron, which not too many people have heard of. But it's an antidepressant that also helps you sleep, doesn't have any sexual dysfunction.
Remeron. Write that down, Remeron.
See, the problem with Zoloft is you can't have an orgasm, and there's all kinds of sexual problems.
Right. And Brian,
Remeron doesn't have that.
Brian Tenenbaum, what is it that, I take it none of you are actors. What do you do professionally?
Professionally, I am I sell steel for a steel distributor.
You're kidding.
No joke.
Wow.
Why would I? Is that shocking?
No, not at all. Not at all. I love this. Oh dear, I think we just lost San Francisco. Are we going to be able to get them back? Yes.
What does San Francisco have to do with me selling steel? We don't even need them for this story.
Yeah, let's hear about this. Let's hear about steel.
I sell steel for a steel distributor, which is sort of a historically been a family business. I do not work in my family business, but I work in the same industry that my family was in years ago. So I don't have really any other talents, so I had to resort to any kind of job my dad could get me through his connections in the industry.
Right. Well, how is steel sold?
Steel is sold over the telephone, by truck, by rail. I'm not sure how, when you say how is it sold.
I
It's
mean,
sold
it's
probably-
not door to door, I take it. Yeah.
No, we don't do a lot of door-to-door, but we have outside salesmen who do knock on steel end users' doors and try and sell it to them, but it's not like a Bible or a vacuum cleaner. You can't sell somebody steel that doesn't need it. By the pound, by the ton,
Right.
by the 100 pounds. 100 pounds and 100 feet is the most common denominator.
I see. Now, Stephen Dignan, how did you prepare for your role as an EMS person?
Right. Well, I did a little research about what it's like to be a paramedic. Found out a few tips from some paramedics. And when I actually got on the set, I found that none of the skills that I had learned had prepared me for getting this gurney into the ambulance, which required sort of a sophisticated synergy of effort on the part of Brian Tenenbaum, who's in L.A., and myself, because we both played EMTs. Then
We had
Bill
a-
Murray was with us.
Yeah, we had
So it was just an education.
Oh, I
on
see. The
set.
two of you were in the same scene together.
Yeah, we worked together on that scene.
I see. Yeah.
we had
And,
sort of
How
a,
do you find working together? Do you find that did he feed you? Did you get feedback from him?
Well, from my point of view, it was great having him on the anchor side because he's a pretty big guy and he's
Yeah.
pretty strong. So for me to have had to heft this actor, this priest, so he wasn't a huge guy, but he was decent size.
No, I saw the movie. Yes,
Yeah,
he was
so,
a decent sized.
It would have been a tough job for me because I don't think I would have had quite the kind of strength that Brian put into it. So,
because you're a bookkeeper.
but I was able to pull the latch, I think, at the appropriate moment to make it kind of, synergy. And make
Oh, I
it
see.
all-
So
make
you
it all work.
gave the scene the synergy, the energy, the drive
The
through
kind of-
that,
yeah,
that
I
Wes Anderson
I
possibly
actually
was looking for.
pulled the wheels up. to kind of slide the thing into the ambulance.
And
So
how many times did you have to do that scene? How many takes did you have
I
to
think
do?
20 is a pretty decent.
20.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I think maybe even more than that. It might have been maybe 25. I can't recall exactly how many, but in the ballpark.
It was a long scene.
It was a long. I think they call it a tracking shot, where the camera's on a long track of dolly, and it goes, like Brian said, about a half a city
a
block.
long track of dolly. That is what to the layperson?
Well, there's a long track, and there's a dolly that sort of rests on the top of this track, and then the whole mechanism of the camera and I believe they call it a giraffe crane that kind of looks like the neck of a giraffe that spins around.
Right.
And that can be also manipulated up and down. So it was just a really interesting to see this mechanism kind of. I mean, I didn't really watch it as the scene was happening, but I watched him put it up, and it was really impressive.
Did you find, Sanjay, that when you were playing tennis, did all the technical stuff around you, did that distract you from your game?
Well, I'd been in situations where there are a lot of sort of people in the audience and just stadium type atmosphere.
Oh, you played in tournaments.
It was shot at the old U.S. Open courts, and they had about 500 extras cheering on cue and stuff, and that can be distracting. But I've done that before, a long time ago. But
Have you ever done a love scene in a movie?
No.
Have you?
Unfortunately.
No, but I'd like to sometime.
And Brian, have you ever done a love scene in one of Wes Anderson's movies?
Never done a love scene, although I loved a lot of the people that I worked with. Does that count?
Yes. Well, that's good. What is your favorite aspect of the filmmaking process, Stephen?
My favorite aspect, I think, is the sort of the beginnings of it, the kind of the writing and the coming up with ideas and thinking about characters. It's kind of fun.
Did you do this? You did this in the Tenenbaums, or
No.
Bottle Rocket, or Rushmore?
Not really, but it seems like for me, I've been working on a little writing stuff myself, and that's what I like when it comes to, creativity. It's like I like kind of just coming up with fun stuff, ideas and characters.
Well, Brian, being a steel salesman, how much do you find? How much of yourself was in this character of this EMS person?
I would say probably, much like Stephen Dignan said, I'm sort of kind of a big guy. I don't know how strong I am for my size, but I think just the fact that I'm big and kind of, sort of an everyday kind of guy from the point of view of what my job is, and that's kind of what an EMT or an EMS guy is. I guess to that degree, they were similar, but that's backing into it. I wouldn't say up front you would be able to describe what my job and the role I played have to do with each other.
Well, what sort of direction did Wes Anderson give you?
Mostly it was about the volume at which I spoke and the intonations of my line, which is, I think he may have broken an ankle. I think he may have broken an ankle. I think he may have broken his ankle. Just really minor variations on those 7 or 8 words. 25 takes, 25 different ways to say it, and not a one of them was right.
So, Sanjay, when you were shooting the tennis scene in Royal Tenenbaums, could you, as a psychiatrist, could you analyze Richie Tenenbaum?
Well, that's a really good question, Peter, and why he had a nervous breakdown. I mean, clearly he was in love with his sister, and there was a lot of paternal rage. But to have such a severe break like he had, I mean, was he schizoaffective? Was he schizophrenic? Was he bipolar? Was this just pure panic?
What drug would you have prescribed?
Remeron.
Remeron. I've just gotten word that we've lost the San Francisco feed, and Deepak has left the building. He's not even waiting for us to try to get back in there. Jim, will you roll the tape on Deepak leaving the building?
Making fun of people's names. I mean, that's
what is
I think I'm gonna go, man.
Are you? Okay.
I
Yeah, you can stay
talk.
as long as you
Huh?
want. Stay as long as you want.
I can talk.
Okay.
He's staying.
Okay. Oh, just you are? Okay.
Yeah.
I can.
Sure. You
I
know what?
can
I
see-
don't.
his
I
name is Brian?
absolutely support that.
Is it Brian?
Huh?
Is Brian? What?
His name is Peter.
Peter.
Yeah. Make
Peter.
They can't hear you.
No, no problem. No problem.
Peter.
Call him Peter.
Peter.
Yeah, I mean, that's really bad too. This is sort of upsetting in a way. I mean, we're supposed to be, further along in the world than this.
Maybe he's meeting Andrew somewhere.
Well, I want to thank everybody for joining in on this
Thank you, Peter.
conversation.
Thank you,
It's been very enlightening, very interesting. And from New York, we thank Brian Tenenbaum, and we thank Kumar Palana and Dipak Palana and Sanjay Matthew and Stephen Dignan.
Dignan.
Yeah, Dignan, sorry.
Sanjay.
Oh, Sanjay. And, Dipak. And thank you for tuning in, and this is Peter Bradley. Good night.